Madam President, I thank Ms. Masuya for her briefing. As we've just heard, the humanitarian situation in Gaza is catastrophic. France condemns the Israeli strikes on civilian infrastructure, and we call upon Israel to guarantee the protection of all civilians in accordance with international humanitarian law. We express our alarm at the extremely grave nature of the situation in the north of Gaza. There, the Israeli army has, for several days now, been conducting an operation. The human toll is already very heavy. Almost 300 victims and 100 people have been wounded in a week, according to local authorities. The delivery of aid is hampered. New evacuation orders have been issued, despite the fact that any forced displacement would constitute a grave violation of international law. Israeli authorities must lift the obstacles hindering the delivery of aid. Access has never been as restricted as since the start of the conflict. France calls upon Israel to cease projects aiming to criminalize UNRWA's activities and to prevent the office from operating in the OPTs in their entirety. That would only worsen
catastrophique,
which is already catastrophic. We reaffirm our support for UNRWA as well as for the implementation of the recommendations contained in the Colonna report. War in Gaza must stop now. That is the only way of effectively responding to the humanitarian tragedy underway. We can no longer accept that humanitarian tragedy as an inevitable fact. There needs to be an immediate permanent ceasefire, the release of all hostages, as well as the delivery at scale of humanitarian aid. France has relentlessly condemned the terrorist attacks perpetrated by Hamas and other terrorist groups on the 7th of October 2023. We continue our efforts to implement the two-state solution, and we will continue to work on this task, including within the Security Council. Measures aiming to weaken the Palestinian Authority must stop. France calls upon Israel to stop hindering the transfer of Palestinian Authority revenues. We support a Palestinian Authority which is reformed and able to shoulder its responsibilities across the Palestinian territory in its entirety, including in the Gaza Strip. We must also address the war currently playing out in Lebanon. The humanitarian situation is worsening as a result of the intensification of Israeli strikes. There too, we need to see an immediate ceasefire. It is high time to fully and comprehensively implement Resolution 1701 to achieve a long-term solution along the Blue Line, which would guarantee respect for the security of both Israel and Lebanon. Finally, and above all, we must avoid a regional conflagration. In this connection, France condemned Hezbollah's attack against a military base in Binyamana, which claimed the lives of 4 people and wounded several tens of people. We recall our unwavering commitment to Israel's security. Hezbollah's attacks against Israeli territory must stop. I thank you.